Dr. Todd looks set to remain in Emmerdale for the foreseeable future, as recent scenes and upcoming spoilers suggest her ruthless behaviour is far from over. Unfortunately for Jacob Sugden, his nightmare is continuing after he almost managed to escape his intimidating boss before she made another vicious decision on Friday. Upcoming episodes also hint that more trouble is on the horizon, with Todd becoming involved in Vanessa Woodfield's life while sparking a bitter clash with Charity Dingle through a dark blackmail scheme. Earlier this week, Jacob finally reached breaking point after Todd continued painting him as an unstable and obsessive medical student. While Vanessa completely believed Todd's version of events, Sarah Sugden stood firmly by Jacob's side. She promised to confront Todd herself, although Jacob pleaded with her not to interfere. The conflict has now become a battle between Sarah and Jacob against Todd and Vanessa, despite Vanessa previously sharing a close friendship with Sarah. Todd's actions have threatened to destroy that bond completely, even affecting relationships within the wider family. Causing chaos clearly doesn't bother Todd, especially after spending months trying to ruin Jacob's life. Jacob even managed to record Todd admitting the truth, but she quickly discovered the recording and erased it before he could use it against her. Despite that setback, Jacob still reported her to HR. However, Todd once again stayed one step ahead by suddenly announcing her retirement before any action could be taken, leaving everyone shocked while Jacob hoped his ordeal was finally over. Sadly for Jacob, Todd's latest move means she avoids facing consequences while keeping her reputation intact. Although she may no longer work at the hospital, her manipulation and intimidation are continuing within the village instead. Jacob is not the only person who should be worried either. Todd's future in the show now appears secure, as her retirement clearly doesn't signal an exit. Jacob still looks guilty in the eyes of many villagers, and apart from Sarah and possibly Ross Barton, nobody else realizes Todd has targeted more than one victim. Vanessa continues to trust Todd completely, and the pair even share a kiss next week after agreeing to go on a date together. Charity is left stunned by the situation, especially because she believed the recent tension with Todd had already been resolved. Now that Todd has left the hospital, and likely blames Jacob for the situation, it seems their previous arrangement no longer matters. Todd previously uncovered Charity's secret surrounding the baby storyline, learning that the child carried for Sarah and Jacob was not biologically theirs. She knows the baby is actually Charity and Ross's child, and she originally agreed to stay silent if Jacob withdrew his complaint against her. But with Todd gone from the hospital and Jacob returning to HR, she no longer has any reason to keep quiet. After dropping subtle hints in front of Jacob, Todd later warns Charity that she possesses undeniable proof about baby Leyla's real parents. She then demands £10,000 in exchange for keeping the secret hidden. Claiming the money would make up for the pension she lost because of Jacob's actions, Todd pressures Charity into paying up. The question now is whether Charity will give in to her demands. What these developments make clear is that Todd is far from finished in the village. Her threats are only becoming more dangerous, with damaging secrets hanging over both Jacob and Charity, meaning the drama could continue for a long time yet. Moira Dingle suffered an emotional outburst in the latest episode of Emmerdale, as the pressure of hiding a huge secret from Cain Dingle began taking its toll. Fans already know Cain is preparing for prostate cancer surgery next week, after receiving his diagnosis earlier this year, with the couple attempting to stay strong together during the difficult time. However, Moira has secretly chosen not to reveal that Robert Sugden played a part in Joe Tate's scheme to have her sent to prison by planting the ID cards. During the episode, Moira suddenly snapped at Isaac after catching him watching television while supposedly unwell. Questioning whether he had pretended to be sick to avoid school, she insisted he return and apologize to his teacher. When Isaac worried he would be punished, Moira angrily responded, "Good, that's exactly what you deserve. I'm tired of everyone acting like I'm a fool. You're being selfish and childish." Not long afterwards, Moira felt guilty for losing her temper and admitted her emotions over Cain's upcoming operation had become more overwhelming than she realized. She later apologized to Isaac for shouting at him. Still struggling with the burden of keeping Robert's betrayal hidden from Cain, Moira's anxiety continued building throughout the day. Later that evening, Cain opened up about his fears regarding how the operation could affect their marriage and future together, but Moira attempted to comfort him. She reassured him by saying, "No matter what happens tomorrow or how things may change, we'll handle it side by side." Scenes airing next week will finally see Cain discover Robert's involvement, leading to dramatic consequences when he takes the frightened farmer hostage. Jeff Hordley, who portrays Cain, explained, "Cain is absolutely furious. Even though he's only recently come out of hospital and still isn't fully recovered, he manages to gather enough strength to grab a hammer before taking Sam with him to confront Robert." An Emmerdale star has hinted at a temporary departure from the soap, following the dramatic conclusion of one of the show's darkest storylines. Paddy Kirk has endured a horrifying ordeal after discovering the terrifying criminal network run by Celia Daniels. At first completely unaware of the operation spreading through the village and exploiting several residents, including his father Bear Wolf, Paddy soon found himself dragged into a nightmare situation. Dylan Penders, who Paddy had taken under his wing like a son, had long been trapped under Celia's control and deeply influenced by her son Ray Walters, who had manipulated Bear into joining their modern slavery scheme. Things spiraled further out of control after Ray murdered Celia by stabbing her in the chest. Completely unstable, he later attempted to kill both Dylan and Paddy before Bear stepped in and accidentally strangled him to death during the struggle. Afterwards, the trio tried covering up Ray's death and hiding his body in an effort to protect Bear from prison. However, determined Detective D.S. Walsh eventually uncovered the truth. Bear was charged with murder, while Paddy and Dylan faced accusations of attempting to obstruct justice. For a while, it appeared all three characters could be leaving the village for good, especially after damaging testimony from former victim Simo during the trial. In the end, Bear and Dylan were cleared of all charges, while Paddy received a suspended sentence after being found guilty. Although many villagers were unhappy that Paddy still faced punishment, he later explained to Bear that despite Ray's cruelty, someone still had to answer for what happened. Because Paddy avoided jail, he was able to continue life with his family and friends while trying to recover from the traumatic events surrounding the case. However, earlier this week, actor Dominic Brunt hinted there could still be more trouble ahead for Paddy. During an appearance on Good Morning Britain on May 5th, Ed Balls asked Dominic whether he believed Paddy deserved prison. Joking about the storyline, Dominic replied that people cannot go around killing others and hiding bodies in vans without consequences. Kate Garraway quickly interrupted to ask what the outcome might mean for Paddy's future on the show. Continuing to tease viewers, Dominic suggested the legal system still had to take its course, while joking that Emmerdale's graveyard was already crowded enough without adding more deaths. Kate then asked for reassurance that Paddy was not leaving permanently, admitting viewers loved seeing him in the series. Dominic responded by revealing he currently had a bit of time off, though he refused to confirm exactly what happens next for Paddy. When Ed jokingly suggested the character might be spending that break in prison, Dominic continued to keep fans guessing by replying, "Maybe, who knows?" Although these comments came before viewers discovered Paddy had avoided jail, fans are now questioning whether his suspended sentence could later land him behind bars if he gets into further trouble. Under the conditions of the sentence, any future criminal behaviour could see Paddy sent to prison for real. Of course, there is still the possibility Dominic simply meant Paddy could be taking a well-earned holiday instead, after everything he, Dylan and Bear have suffered through. Emmerdale airs on weekday evenings at 8 p.m. on ITV1, while episodes are also available to watch from 7 a.m. on ITVX and YouTube.